Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fashion Bunker. So, luxury fashion, the bubble is bursting, apparently. Farfetch loses another major client. Now, we know that Farfetch has been having some issues and they've been having trouble staying afloat. We just made a video about this a couple of weeks ago about South Korean company buying Farfetch, bailing them out from complete bankruptcy and failure, yada, yada, yada. Well, now the next chapter begins. Actually, two chapters that we're going to touch base on in this video. And Gucci might or might not be involved. To find out, subscribe to my channel, push the join button next to the subscription button, become a member today, gain access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon, superdacob, all spelled together there as well for extra perks. This video is being filmed live in front of a live virtual audience. I live stream several times a week, so come join the fun, come join the live chats. Hi, chat. So I have Forbes magazine reporting as well as the industry.fashion. Kering Group, now Kering owns Gucci and Bottega Veneta and other brands. We're going to get to it. Kering is the first to jump ship from Farfetch. Thumb up this video if you're enjoying it. Everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's just alleged in my opinion. So Kering pulls its brands from Farfetch, which was recently purchased by Coupang, the South Korean company, for $500 million in a rescue deal after the luxury giant claimed the e-tailer was a small player in the Kering universe. Small player in the Kering universe. Now, when we dig a little bit deeper into this, we find out that Farfetch as a company guess where it's registered? Where Farfetch Limited is registered? It's registered in the Cayman Islands. Ah, quelle surprise, right? Like, right? In the Cayman Islands? I see. One doth wonder, why would one, why would one register their company in the Cayman Islands? Right next to Shana. You best believe, Holly Grace. Pardon me, I'm still recovering from the flu. Now, they say that it started with the holders of Farfetch convertible bonds organized as the 2027 ad hoc group filing a suit to liquidate Farfetch Limited. This was the issue that was happening prior to Coupang purchasing Farfetch, and to recover $404 million in losses. And the suit was filed in the Cayman Islands, where, coincidentally, Farfetch Limited is also registered. Now, we're still sticking quickly with Kering Group. Kering states that they are leaving. No, I need to go up again. Kering states that, Jean-Marc Duplé, the Kering Deputy Chief Executive Officer, told reporters this, and we quote, "Today, our brands are present only through e-concessions, which had been negotiated in recent years. E-commerce at Kering accounted for around 12% of revenues in 2023, which is less than previously, since the pressure on aspirational consumers impacted e-commerce more than physical distribution." We're talking about poverty. Let me translate what this business talk means. What he's saying is that their e-commerce garnered around 12% of revenues in 2023, while of their entire gross. While in the past, e-commerce had higher percentage of revenue. Now they're only at 12%, of which it has impacted their e-commerce more than physical distribution because the aspirational client, okay, is buying less. So they're, in other words, saying that the aspirational, in other words, the person that can't afford the big the big ticket items, they're buying small leather goods, small trinkets, just to have the logo on them to, be able to like show off, that's the aspirational client. They're buying less. But they're also, what else we can read from this is that the actual clients that do spend the big money, they go into the physical stores and they spend their money in the physical stores. Not saying that there's some big spenders that also only purchase online, for sure. But usually when it comes to these luxury brands like Gucci, for example, if you have a very big spender that maybe doesn't live very near the boutique, what they're going to do usually is they're going to have a sales associate that works with them. So they're not going to purchase their stuff just randomly on the Gucci website, but rather they're going to be in touch with the sales associate, in touch with a physical boutique. They will order from that sales associate who will pack the items for them from the boutique and ship them over to the client. In some cases, when we're talking about bigger luxury relationships between the client and the shop or / boutique, sometimes if they trust you very well as a big spending client, they will send you items without you paying them. They will send them to your home for you to try them on, for you to see if they fit, for you to see if you like them. What you like, you keep and pay for. What you don't like, you send it back to the boutique, and then they sell it on the sales floor. These are the big ticket spenders, okay? These are the ones that, invest the money. Well, invest is a wrong word here. These are the people that spend a ton of money. That's the treatment they get. They usually don't end up spending all that money for online purchases at a luxury e-commerce. No, they will spend their money by transferring money to the boutique directly, and they will have a direct connection to the sales associate. That's how it usually works. Now, and here's the second part of this. So Kering is stepping out and they're taking all their brands with them. They will no longer sell on Farfetch or through Farfetch. However, this does not warrant Kering preventing other shops that sell on Farfetch that also have a license to sell Kering brands to sell the Kering brands on Farfetch. What does this mean? This means that Kering themselves are pulling out of Farfetch, but they cannot prevent brick and mortar mom and pop store that has a license to sell a Gucci Marmont bags. They can still sell them on Farfetch because that's not Kering selling directly on Farfetch. You see, it's Kering selling the bag to the authorized retailer. That authorized retailer that owns a little tiny shop in some city is connected to Farfetch. They can still sell the Kering product on Farfetch, but Kering themselves are pulling out. Just to be very clear about that. Now, the second issue is, of course, Kering can stop their contract with the shops that have a license to sell their products that are selling on Farfetch. Of course, after their contract expires, Kering can say, we no longer wish to renew our license with you to sell our products to the little shop. They can say that. And so the little shop can then no longer sell Kering products on Farfetch. Duh, goes without saying. Now the second issue, so we had Gucci, Saint Laurent, Balenciaga, Bottega Veneta, and others. They're all under Kering and they're all gone. Now the second issue is Neiman Marcus Group. And here I need to go up in the art. Okay. So shortly we have another issue here because the Neiman Marcus Group announced it was ending its commercial partnership with Farfetch, which included replatforming the Bergdorf Goodman website and app under Farfetch Platform Solutions software. But Farfetch keeps on holding, as the article here says on Forbes, $200 million common equity minority investment in Neiman Marcus Group that was finalized in May of 2022. So now Neiman Marcus Group is saying, we want out as well. Farfetch is saying, but we still got $200 million equity here. So you can't just like say, bye-bye. So there's like a little bit of a mismatching going on there. Everybody wants out. Basically, long story short, people are bailing ship. Farfetch appears to be a sinking ship at this point. I don't know why the South Korean company decided to invest the $500 million to save the sinking ship. It seems like there's no winning this one. Not that Neiman Marcus Group, is having a field trip economically and successfully lately. They're also struggling to literally survive, so I've been told, allegedly. So it's not like they're like happy to keep investing in Farfetch when Farfetch appears to be a sinking ship. Everybody's bailing out. So what do you guys think? Because let me, that... It's basically, they say Farfetch was hit by a winding up petition which accused its founder, Jose Neves, of striking a bargain to offload the retailer to South Korean retail giant Coupang at the expense of shareholders. So nobody's liking what has happened. With Coupang buying for $500 million, Farfetch. Chrome is commenting, the aspirational customer being their downfall. How delicious, of course. And this is something that is going to ultimately be the downfall for all of these luxury brands if they don't get with it. They have been alienating systemically middle class and underneath the middle class, which they call aspirational clients. They have been too snotty, snooty, and snobby and elitist, and they wanted them out. They just wanted the 1% of the rich. And now, all of a sudden, they're realizing, oops, oh yeah, no, okay. Maybe we do need the aspirational client after all. Well, methinks it's a little bit too late in some cases. You pushed it way too far. You became too greedy. And now what are you going to do? You're going to lose the aspirational client. And when you lose the aspirational client, your ship sinks. That's what you get. That's what you get. D. Higginbotham says, this aspirational client can only afford Preloved now. Well, Preloved is the future. And this is a really interesting point. Preloved is the future. First of all, it is sustainable. Second of all, in many cases, if you know what you're doing, if you know where you're looking, and if you know your authentication, then you can get a good deal. And you can, spend less money than if you were to buy the product full price in the boutique. However, don't get fooled. The Preloved market is a minefield of counterfeit and replicas, and they're getting better and better and better at it. Okay, it's illegal. Still, it's one thing when somebody's honest enough towards the customer and tells you this is a replica, so it's going to cost you what it's going to cost you. But it's another thing altogether when they tell you this is authentic and it's going to cost you a lot of money, when in reality, it's not authentic. That's the minefield. And to navigate those waters is becoming, from a day-to-day basis, more and more difficult. Just because the fakes are becoming better and better and better, and most of these heritage brands have these heritage products. In other words, we are going through a weird form of recession and conservatism of luxury. In other words, most of these famous brands can also no longer rely on brand new designed it items. It doesn't fly anymore. Very rarely does it fly. Very rarely does it fly. What does this mean? This means that these brands, for the most part, have to rely on their heritage items because the people today are very picky about how they spend their money. Justly so. And if you're going to spend your money on a Chanel bag, I mean, what's it going to be? You're going to spend the $10,000 on a timeless classic double flap? Or are you going to spend $8,000 on a seasonal Chanel bag that is going to not look good anymore after 2 years? Because the shape and the color, and it's just out of, it's not timeless. But you spent almost the same amount of money. So people are thinking, if I'm going to buy from these heritage luxury brands, I want to buy an item that is timeless, that is not limited by trends. And that makes perfect sense to me. Okay, but here's the problem. Pardon me. Here's the problem. These heritage items are relatively simple. All the best classics out there are quite simple, really. You know, like a Birkin, like a Kelly, like a timeless classic. And they've been around for decades, okay? Decades. What does this mean? This means that the counterfeit world has had decades to perfect copying these bags. It's not like this bag is a seasonal shape and it came out this season and next season it's out already. So the counterfeit world doesn't really have the time to perfect their counterfeit items. You know what I mean? Even though even in that case, they're really good at it. But with the heritage items, they had decades to perfect their craft. So this is why I'm telling you, the more time passes and the more these heritage pieces become so tricky to hunt down pre-loved because it's a minefield of counterfeit goods. So on one hand, I say the pre-loved route is a good route in terms of preservation of the environment, sustainability. But for me personally, the pre-loved route, I'm only speaking for myself here, not for you. For me personally, the pre-loved route is only for seasonal pieces. And also usually clothing, not bags. And the more vintage, the better. So we're talking stuff from the 80s, stuff from the 90s, you know, I mean, sure, if you're into 50s, 40s, 30s, all that stuff. But I'm talking, you know what I mean? Close past, you know, Y2K era, 90s, 80s. Clothes, patterns, textiles, fabrics that are very specific and particular, not stuff that is usually counterfeited or copied, also because there's no real demand for it. It's something that you hunt down and buy because you love that product, you understand that brand, you really treasure certain pieces. That's what I do. That's what the pre-loved market is for me. The pre-loved market, for me, is not for classic Chanel bags. It is not for classic Hermes bags. It is not for classic Louis Vuitton or Dior bags. It just isn't. It just isn't, because the fakes have become so insanely good that I would not risk it personally anymore. I think that ship has sailed. But for sustainability's sake, and also for the sake of quality, because the textiles, the fabrics, the beautiful textures, the woven materials, the tweeds from the 90s, from the 80s and the 70s were much better quality than they are today. So hunting those down vintage is still a special treat for me. Certain accessories as well, but when we're talking about these heritage leather bags, I just gave up. I'm not going to hunt those. I don't want the heartburn and the heartbreak and the sleepless nights. Oh my gosh, you know, because even pre-loved, they know how much these bags cost new. I mean, the timeless classic, the small is now $10,000. So the pre-loved one is not going to be $2,000. It's also going to be like $7,000. You got to shell out $7,000 and you're not even pre-loved and you're not even sure if it's authentic or not? No. Absolutely not. Not going to happen. Not for me personally. You know, that's why I'm saying pre-loved, yes, but only a specific route of pre-loved for me personally. but you do you, boo. So, yeah. There you go. Mrs. Free to Be Me says, in the chats, Preloved being only for seasonal items makes perfect sense to me. Right? There you go. You know, I mean, to each their own, you guys. But let me know your thoughts down below. Subscribe, thumb up this video, and until next time, never forget to never give up on love. Love you loads. Bye.